R&B, jazz, smoothed out with a little hip hop appeal to it. The one and only Chrisette Michelle. Hey, Chrisette.
How are y'all?
Beautiful, beautiful. Yes, you're looking rather lovely. We haven't seen you in a while, but we are so glad to see you back on the scene. I'm one of your biggest fans, lady. You have one of the most beautifulest voices. And I think one of the last songs that I really heard you on was Oh Yeah with Music Soul Child on the Robert Glasper. That's like one of your Robert's favorites, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So what have you been doing? So you've been working on some new music. Let's talk about it. What have you been working on?
I think music in general is just something I'm kind of always making. So a lot of times if somebody says, what am I working on? I'm like, you mean for you or just because I make music? And so that's kind of like the kind of going joke is like, I guess this quarantine is asked us all to keep creating, and putting stuff out has been really fun. But putting out this gospel stuff has been really exciting and fun. So that's kind of what I've been working on, how to share that, how that feels, how it's received.
Yeah, that's dope, Chrisette, because Constance and I, we've been bumping your latest single. If you're listening out there in the Conversation Starters Live, please go out and get wherever you get your streaming music. I don't even know if record stores are open, but go out and get the single Wait by Chrisette Michelle. And what we were saying, Chrisette, is we felt that deep down in your sha-na-na, because that was kind of spiritual, how you was, trying to convey, I'm gonna wait on you, God, like this don't feel too good, but I'm gonna trust your word because I believe everything that the Bible says, so I'm just gonna wait a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it came out of kind of being separated from my last relationship and just kind of figuring out what life is like after that, and kind of giving myself the grace to figure it out without feeling rushed.
Sure. So through this quarantine, how has it been for you? Because I know you created Sister Chats, and you're doing that on IGTV. So how is it? How did that come about, and why did you decide to do that?
Everybody was like, Chrisette, can you do a concert on whatever platform everybody's using? And I just didn't feel led to do one on digitally. It didn't feel right. And it wasn't whether it was bad or good, it just didn't feel like I wanted to do it. But I did feel drawn to the digital space. I've been blogging for maybe 7 or 8 years, so I love the digital space. And so I was moving at the time from my ex and I's house. And I had some really awesome support around me, some elders. So I said, why don't we just go on and infuse some hope and let people know everything's going to be all right. And that audience began to grow, and it grew into what's now a private community called the Sistership.
Yeah.
I love it. That's dope. I mean, because Chrisette, I don't know if you know this, but we're kind of a big deal in our circle of influence. We have this small show called ConversationStarters Live. So we blog, we chat, we podcast, and we certainly try to reach out and create a safe space, not only for people like yourselves, but folks who are following and listening to us. But I think that the Sister Chat piece is so dope because communication and conversation is so necessary, especially during this moment of COVID when, there's a lot of misinformation and fake news out there.
Yeah.
But also, I kind of heard that you're doing like a clothing line. I want to know, is it something for sisters only, or is it for everybody?
Yeah, so right now it's a collaboration with myself and Shop Pretty Pieces. I found them on the internet, kind of like where we find everything these days, right?
Sure.
And I was like, I just love their energy. They have beautiful energy. And I said, can you guys just send me stuff to wear to church on Sunday? And they were like, sure. And they had all this fun stuff for the club and for church, but they sent this church stuff. And I just loved how non-judgmental they were. A lot of times when you're at church, you want to throw, to be quite honest, right?
Yeah.
They were just so chill about it. And so we were like, why don't we do something else? It took them 6 months to convince me to sell something during quarantine, because I was like, that's not even nice to ask people to buy stuff right now. But when
Really?
Yeah, I felt really uncomfortable with it at first.
Well, let me just educate you a little small piece. The lady that's on the screen is all about generational wealth. And traditionally Black wealth, just creating that. So in this market, there are always buyers and sellers. So when you consume Netflix, when you consume Apple TV, you are buying something, and you're doing it unconsciously. So why not leverage the personality and the brand that you are? And if it's something you believe in it, put it out there in the marketplace, because we believe that the universe rewards action, right? You can just sit there and hold your dream, but you holding up somebody else from having their breakthrough. So that's why it's so crucial that you make the beautiful music that you do. And I heard you touch on your relationship more than once, right? And breakups are always tough. But what's bringing a smile to your face right now, even in the midst of this pandemic?
People, community, having the online community space. Before I moved from New York, I had a yoga studio. We would come together and we would do yoga, and we would do a lot of different types of African dance. And I just love the way that feels. So being able to bring that to the digital space has not just made me smile, but it's made so many of my sisters smile. So my favorite in the whole world is Zoom during quarantine, to be honest with you.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I know that maybe a year or two ago, you quoted one of my personal friends, Miss Lisa Nichols. You I think you tweeted something about her. She's actually a personal friend of mine. She's been on the show. She's my sister, my coach.
Yeah.
And yes, I love her. She's big sis. And I told her about it. I was like, hey, Chrisette had quoted you on her. She was excited about it. She was really excited about it. Absolutely. But I see that you are doing coaching. You're doing wellness coaching. Tell us about that. That's amazing. And that's one of the things, that's the personal development is a vein that both Robert and I both stay in all the time.
Yeah.
It's so extremely important, because as we evolved, what did George Fraser say? We have 7-8 iterations of life. We're always evolving. And we're never. And so you have to have that outlet to where you're intentional about your personal growth. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so I've been coaching in general for about 7 years. Before, it was just kind of like an email me if you have a question kind of thing, yelling in front of us. Email me if you have a question, because I hate leaving people without giving them knowledge if they have a question and I know the answer. That's one of the most difficult things for me. Both of my parents are teachers and educators.
All those fans, you're still able to do that?
I have to. It's in my DNA. And so what's exciting now is it's moving into this inner peace coaching, which wasn't what I was doing before. Everything leads towards finding inner peace, but it always starts with, how can I make more money? And I'm like, oh, even like so teaching people how to like themselves has been really, really fun, because the majority of people don't.
Wow.
So how have you seen your growth transform in that time where you're helping other people? How's that helped you?
I learned that I yell a lot. I learned that I hate excuses. I learned that I don't let people cry if they should be standing. That the only time that I use the word should is if I know you can. And that is a part of myself that I didn't know. I didn't know that I push other people that way.
Yeah. So staying on that vein with you being in the coaching space, and it's easy, right? When we're able to coach others and see them in the midst of their mess and give them a message in the middle of that, right? Because you can see what's on the other side of the storm, when most people who are in the storm, they prefer to stay in the storm, even if it's unconsciously. So I am always a fan of people who can bring people out of a storm with a story or a message. And I love what you said, I'm only gonna say should if I know your butt can. That's encouragement for somebody.
Now you have to be responsible for their can. You have to be accountable with them. And I don't like to give people advice. One of my mentees is watching right now. I'm not going to tell you leave his ass. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say, why are you with him?
Well, I'm glad that we're not your friends, Chrisette, because this one over here was say, leave his ass.
Yeah, that's what community is all about. Because you have to be like that. My best friend from Harlem, she's the leave his ass. I'm the, what did you make for dinner?
Yeah. Oh.
how'd that make you feel? You know what I mean? So,
but you know, the coaching also, it allows you to put a mirror up to yourself. And I love the fact that you're so introspective and saying, no, it's not just about, you know, what I'm giving to them, but how I can see myself and how I can grow from it. So I think that's a beautiful thing.
the best part, right? And
Yeah. So the coaching piece is so much more intimate, Chrisette. I'm a little bit selfish. I'm light-skinned and sensitive. I profess that. I claim that and I own that. And that's great for your community, but we kind of need to see you like on a stage, on an intimate venue, on a festival. Like, so are you eager to kind of get back out and like do the whole—
She said, no, what do you mean? We need to see you. What do you mean?
I'm not understanding. Let me ask it a different way. When are you, when we start clapping our hands, I said what I said. No, seriously. I mean, even in a virtual space, like your voice is, so I never fan out, never, because I'm from DC. That's just not what we do. But your range is so just appealing in so many different genres, right? And that's something that we really don't have with all these song stylists out here who are kind of doing whatever they're doing. And I'm not going to name names, but I mean, your voice is pure. So the music space, the live audience, they need that. And I mean that sincerely. So when you say you ain't performing, like, I got a problem with that.
She said she ain't. She didn't say she ain't. She said she's not really looking forward to it, correct?
I love the way you did that.
Let's not put words in her mouth, brother.
Okay,
Please.
well, so for me—
No, let her talk, please. Go ahead, Chrisette.
I do have some shows coming out, and there are a lot of performances on my social media right now. So if you're looking to see me perform, you can go to my Instagram. There are about 20 videos of live performances there through Chrome. And then there are some on my website, ChrisetteMichellesWorld.com. But I'll be performing, I'll be doing the City Winery December 14th and 15th in Atlanta. And that'll be streaming live. I've got a couple of dates around my birthday, which is next month coming. So I'm excited about the City Winery. It should be fun. It's my full band is going to come hang out with me in the background vocals. And I'm being silly when I say I'm not looking forward to it. I just wanted to see what you would say.
Don't play with us, because that's where I'm going to take off my earrings, put on my Vaseline, and we're going to have a problem.
I always wonder what sounds exciting about it.
What?
I've seen you in a couple of different venues. I've seen you in a larger venue, and I actually seen you at the San Jose Juneteenth Festival a few years back. And so two totally different types of concerts, two totally different experiences. You have such, your background's great, band's great, but your range and the way you make people feel when you're on stage, and there's nothing in the world like a live performance. So lady, you just give such a brilliant performance, and you make us feel like we're a part of the show, and you make us feel like, it's just a warm—
Sorry.
And then they play Rick Ross.
I'm a beat you up.
Miss Michelle, when you gonna come sing us a song?
I want to get invited to the digital show.
Let me explain it this way. Listen, so here's what happens. Like,
I'm coming to Atlanta.
I know, when you said City Winery, there's one in Washington, D.C., so I thought that's what you were saying. So I'll come to ATL because I got family down there. But anyway, my point is this. Your voice on this particular song, Aston Martin music, just floats in and out of the lyrics and the beats, and it's so effortless. And then you sing something like A Couple of Forevers. If I had my way, like, man.
You know my favorite balance in love music is balancing the feminine energy up against the masculine energy. One of my favorite reasons to do hip hop music is because if you're really listening with your heart, you understand that I'm deciding where to insert myself in a man's world in that song. And the only way I can say I love you is by talking about your car and being sweet about it. Because Russ has this powerful masculine energy. And so you want to kind of just ebb and flow.
Yeah. Just play into that. You know, and I know you have to go in a little bit, but I wanted to talk to you really quick about your clothing line. And I know it's like for curvy women of all sizes, you aren't as curvy as you used to be.
That's right.
What have you been doing over the last several years? And then tell us about the clothing line. Have you changed the way you've eaten? What have you done?
I've changed the people I talk to.
Ah,
I literally have. And I try to make sure I say that in the beginning of any weight loss conversation. Otherwise, I feel like I'll be being irresponsible. But I had to get rid of anything going into my ear that was breaking me.
toxicity.
Toxicity had to go. And you know, when you're doing holistic lifestyle, I'm sure you know this working with Lisa, you're checking your body to find out what you're allergic to, and you find out, oh my God, I shouldn't eat celery or cilantro. We're putting all this stuff into our body that's toxic.
Right.
People and getting all that mess away. And then it starts by removing things in your home that just are toxic. And little by little, it makes its way into what's in your fridge. And you begin to realize the difference of how your body responds to being fed and how it digests the food you give it. Your body changes. My metabolism changed from the spirit to the physical.
And how long have you been in this space, walking this walk?
About 2 years. That particular walk where I realized that wrestle not against flesh and blood, you know,
Yeah.
where everything is like, what's your spirit saying about that, sis? And not apologizing for it, because the Christian faith doesn't ask you not to eat beef.
Right.
I just don't feel led to eat beef.
Yeah.
So Chrisette,
Yeah.
I hear everything that you're saying. So you mean to tell me
Listen,
we're at the city winery, right? And you sipping on your tea because you need to get your sha-na-na right, but you haven't eaten all day. And then you got your big bro, Rob, on the job, and you say, man, I'm hungry. And I said, sis, I got you. All right, this is your choices. You got Chipotle, Chick-fil-A, or McDonald's. Chick-fil-A has salad. Chipotle has real chicken, I think. And McDonald's is McDonald's. What you gonna do?
You know how much hormones is in chicken? And do you
I do.
the Black woman's war against fibroids? I'm just talking health. Jesus Christ. We're gonna eat, we're gonna pay for hormones?
Yeah. I watched What the Health, so I'm with you on that. And a lot of people don't realize that. So they feel like chicken is the lesser of the two evils. I heard you talk about beef, and then the people that don't eat pork, but most of the processed foods that we eat are bad for us. And that's about 80% of the things that we eat outside of garden vegetables, right? So it's really difficult for me and my whole sha-na-na to just pass by, Chipotle when I'm really hungry, or to just walk past my salad at Chick-fil-A when I just need to get my fix on, because I got to go on, because I sing a little bit too in the shower, and I'm really good. So from time to time, I need to just feed myself. And I got to get what's available.
Chipotle, and I would get the cilantro rice and like maybe the corn salsa, which is fun, but we don't know what that is, but that, and then the pinto, they have vegetarian beans and the peppers and onions, that stuff on top.
But see, that has to be extremely difficult because it's just not convenient, how they have it, it's not convenient to eat right. It's not convenient to eat healthy. So how do you grab stuff and go? It has to be something that you have to really think out, right?
I always got trail mix that I made with a bunch of different stuff just in case. But Chipotle is one of those spots that we'll stop at.
Yeah. So as we close this interview, one of the things really important, as like I told you, I work with Lisa. I'm all about empowerment and personal development and self-improvement. And, we go through these things in life and really our audience, what we try to convey to them is that there are hardships that people go through, but more importantly, how they were able to get on the other side. And we just want to make people know that it's possible. No matter what you go through, it's possible. And so, there's this thing that we talk about called fears. You've had your failures, your embarrassments, but you've had to go all in, take risks, and have those sleepless nights, FEARS. Failures and embarrassments, all in, risks, sleepless nights. So can you just give us one example of just, something that you've had to just really overcome just to get to that really made you stronger? Because we want people to know that if Chrisette can get through it, I can get through it too.
You can't get through anything strong that you didn't start strong. You're not going to suddenly learn how to have peace because you have to go through hell. You're going to learn how to have peace before you go through hell. Hell is going to teach you how to keep it, for me anyway. And so what I found is I don't like to make believe I agree all the time. People ask me often, how did you overcome adversity? I overcame adversity before I experienced it, so that when it was time to experience it, I held on to what I had. And as I came through to the end of it, people thought it was something new, but really it was God's first time revealing what he had trained me for before the test. So I hope that makes sense, but my advice, if I had to give any, you know how I feel about that word, would be work on getting through adversity before it happens. Be strong, because you want to meet adversity prepared for it. You're going to have adversity.
Yeah.
The whole God loves, he chastises. So expect to have to learn a lesson at some point. But study now before it happens.
So would you suggest, because obviously what you're saying is you have to have that inner peace already inside of you. How do they get there?
This is going to sound so simple, and I hope it is. Start finding the things about yourself that you like. Just, do you like your toenails? Start painting them more. Like, start building on the little tiny things about you that you like, because I find that when I ask somebody to write a list of 7 things about themselves that they like, it takes them a very long time. Sometimes that's the end of our first meetings and ends in tears. Because
wow. So let's turn the mirror back on you, Miss Michelle. I'd like to know 3 things that you like about you.
I like how I respond to, what are those things called? Cat calls. I'm always afraid when they get around construction.
Is that the, hey lady, hey boo?
Because everybody's always surprised, and I'm like, what up, Dad? How you doing? I like that about myself. Nobody expects that from me. I like that people don't scare me. I like that I like routines. See how shocked I made you? I feel the same way. I like my routines. I like that I always wash my face in the morning and before I go to bed. I always put on my mask before I go to sleep. I like my routines. And I love the way that I design. I'm an incredible interior decorator. Ridiculous. And we could go on.
Well, I just asked you for 3 because let me tell you 3 things I love about you. I love your inner beauty that shows outwardly. I would never have a cat call. I love the fact that you have shown growth, right? And that's hard to do when you're in a fishbowl and everybody's watching your every step and they're waiting for your missteps, particularly. And I love, this is my number 1. What did I say, Constance? My number 1. Number 1, stick with me. My number 1 thing.
I'm listening. I'm trying to see where you're going, brother, because you always got a trick up your sleeve. Your number 1 is what?
No trick up my sleeve. I'm being honest.
Okay.
From a spirit.
Okay.
I love your voice. Absolutely love your voice. And so I'm not going to ask you to sing because I do that a lot, and people are known for well, people know that I'm going to ask that. But when you're in City Winery, right? And if you look out in the audience and you see a semi-handsome light-skinned cat like waving, just don't be brand new. It's Rob, my boy Rob. What's up? Just give me a shout out and I'm gonna be straight.
So I wanted to say that if you want to get more information from Chrisette Michelle, go to richhipster.com. But you do coaching. How do people find out about your coaching? They go to richhipster.com?
Well, for coaching, it's super easy. If you go to my Instagram, there's a questionnaire at the top of my link tree.
Okay.
For the sistership.org is the other spot where all the ladies gather. But yeah, go to my Instagram and fill out a questionnaire first, because I love to kind of get to know people a little bit. And I don't like to just throw out a program.
Sure.
I like for each person. So.
And you do one-on-one coaching, or is it group coaching?
Well, there's group coaching and one-on-one, but for inner peace, it's embarrassing. You know how coaching is.
I do.
You don't want to do that in front of a lot of people.
You got to get booty naked.
Yeah.
And be very, very real.
in that space. That's what I watched my parents do all my life. I love it. So,
That's beautiful. That
Yeah.
is
Wow.
beautiful.
So I love the fact that you guys had breakthrough sessions. Like y'all left me over here. Like I was like, hey, this guy like testosterone.
So
Is
annoying.
right? It was a totally tender moment. And I know that this is kind of what you do. And I didn't even know that, Chrisette. I mean, I know I kind of read clippings, but just to hear you talk like it's verified, I can put my stamp of approval on it saying that you are the real.
She's a real deal. Clearly,
Yeah.
she's a real deal.
That's super dope. And if I could say anything that I learned today is that you about it. You walking like you're talking, and that's real for me.
Everything. That is everything.
Since you've been drinking on your tea, can you just give me a little piece of weight, or I could play the beat in the background,
And then we'll leave you alone. Then we will leave you alone.
or I could just sing a couple of forever.
No, please, Chrisette. No, Chrisette. No.
Guilty. It's one part that I can do pretty good.
This morning you didn't do well?
Huh?
Because you didn't do well this morning?
Well, I mean, yeah, I feel like I did very well.
Save us. Save us.
I will sing, because wait, you got to hear all the words. And we
Oh, wait is deep.
I can't just give you a snippet of that. Not at this point in my growth. Can't be giving out sound bites at this point in my growth. But
She gotta fully feed us. We gotta be fully fed. Come on.
a couple of forevers, okay?
Oh,
Mute yourself, Rob. Mute yourself.
All right. How does the chorus go? You and me are built like armor. Nothing can stop love from loving us. Yeah, I'm not asking for much, just a couple of forevers. Baby,
couple of forevers.
No. Why you do me like that? That is my song. That is my song, girlfriend.
If I get it one more time, I could be right on.
You see how he just disrespected your song like that?
I haven't had my tea yet. I apologize. But anyway, though, Chrisette, those of you who are out there, Conversation Starters Live, we love the fact that you are a part of the #1 platform in the world. And we believe that we are a global brand that will generate millions, not for you, but for all of y'all. We want to make sure that we can show you what is possible. So make sure you heart this thing up, like it up, tell a friend that Conversation Starters Live is everywhere you watch, on every streaming device. And you saw Miss Chrisette Michelle just do the damn thing. She is not only a Grammy award-winning singer. She's a coach, y'all. She knows a little bit of yoga, and she knows stuff. And she can help you with your sha-na-na, your mess. And once again, my friends, my name is Robert Antoinette, along with the lovely
Constance Carter.
We believe that for every situation,
there is a conversation.
# Conversation Starters Live.
Peace. Thank you.